to another episode of Your Space with your host, Hannah Arinite. Today, the Your Space platform is here in Gulu City in northern Uganda. We are going to be joining some of the young people in a conversation around what the path of ethical leadership looks like. How can you be an ethical leader in your community? How can you be able to take a step and lead your fellow young people into the right direction? Let's get into it.
Our theme for today is a path to ethical leadership, which will be delivered by Dr. Patricia Chan Okoria, who is the Deputy Inspector General of Government and the patron of Acholi Students Union. And then after that session, we will have then the panel discussion. We shall choose in among you people, young people, to speak about youth accountability, governance, which will go for around 15 minutes or so. And then after that, we shall have the official handover ceremony, reflection of the outgoing executive, presentation of 2024-2025, awarding of patron swearing in of new leadership, acceptance speech, and then remarks again by Dr. Patricia, who will give us the remarks.
Our invited guest, the different schools here, Gulu Senior, Laibi High, different universities, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Well, I would love to start by appreciating each and every one for having spared that time to come and be with us on this amazing day. Well, today is the 27th of June, 2025, and this is our D-Day, the conference and handover of Acholi Student Union. Well, I must say it hasn't been an easy journey because most of the students from different universities are in for holidays. So pulling up such a huge number of people wasn't easy. But above all, thank you once again for having honored our invites to come at the venue here. Chairperson Organizing Committee of today's event. And basically, I would say I don't have much to say. To our invited leaders, thank you for being exemplary and taking your time, sparing your time basically to come and be part of this event. It is always very inspirational for us to invite our leaders and then they listen to our calls because we look at them as mentors. And basically, when you look at someone as a mentor and you invite them to come and be in a certain event and they show up, that shows that they are willing to avail themselves to the people that they lead. So thank you once again, our different leaders, for having honored our invites. We are very grateful. So today's event, I believe our moderator is going to guide us through with it, and I hope we enjoy our stay here.
Coming and outgoing, we have done work together to make sure that this day comes to pass, and I believe you're going to have the best of today. And today's conference and handover is with a theme, a path to ethical leadership. I want us to really pay attention and listen to our individuals who are here with us. I believe there's going to be very important knowledge which is going to be shared here, and to the best of our ability, we utilize it well and reflect on how we can continue with our daily activities, our daily work, and everything that we do. I know this is just to welcome all of you for this. I don't have really much to say right now, but when the time comes, we are going to share the different things that actually Students Union actually does, and the different projects we have actually achieved with the help of the different respective individuals with us here, and so many other things. Otherwise, I want each and every one of us to feel at home, enjoy the space.
Leadership is a place to serve. If you're not ready to serve, don't accept the responsibility. We will respect you more. Uniangwai. Kape ready me serving, you just say, I am not ready this year. Don't allow to become a leader when you don't have time to serve. Ethical leadership requires you to be of service. So friends, how then can I live ethically every day? Any pain me uromo penya. My response is simple. Cho obituary ni Kenny. What you want people to say when you die. Iwinyo, right? The late so and so lived like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things. You want people to say at your funeral. That is what can make you live ethically. Because when you die, you know every time, Iwinyo ni, oh, he ran a good race. Kario bero la kuonini. Ento good race ni nyuruni, you were ethical, isn't it? So the way to live ethically, do your own obituary. Chogin memiere wawaj ka kuonyo ruenyo, then live by it every day. Start with the end in mind. Ni anate in this world for this time. If I die, what will people say? Do you ever see people say when people have died, anything wrong? They always say good things, even when we know that the man was dangerous and terrible. We say, obero ngarabe, kirebe, wako jemi, any nogetia woro, liel fangarimo. What about if you made it solid by actually making it easy for people to say those things when you pass on? Ni anabero mabe, and everyone comes, gets the microphone, says it with confidence. That is what you can help us by being ethical. Winyo. So I want to thank all of you, to the young leaders, Miereungeni, your choices now matter. Your choices in student associations, communities, and classrooms shape the leader you will become. Will you divide or build bridges? Will you bend rules for gain or stand for what's right, even at a cost? I urge you to work with some of our elders whose wisdom is invaluable. I also ask you to support initiatives like Rocho Pajo. Personally, I want to thank the students of Gulu University. I want to say this, Dr. Kelo, that last year when I launched the Gulu City Marathon, it is the students of the university who embraced it in actually more than anyone. They came and volunteered. So I want to thank them. And I think we clap for them. Why? Because they understood that we need to work together to celebrate our culture and heritage. So I ask you to come together. Let's be ethical. Let's deal with problems that we have, and let's also empower each other. Outgoing student leaders led by Courtfield, thank you for your great service. And to Mr. Chan, Jimmy, and your team, we warmly welcome you and your team.
Having to do with ethical leadership. The first thing that Jimmy asked me, what do you mean? In the past, was that an issue? Ethical leadership. You were still growing up. Paul Timo Macharo, Kamachene Notie, Down Magene, Murbet Ear, Paul Carmo Karangage. Nogi Juma Aikwe. You may not know that. Aki Kany. Kirwa Timo, this Timo Tino and Jalo Chikari. They still look for Anacholi. Why? You heard what council told us. He was given some money to go and organize a function. $7 million. Was it dollars or shillings? Shillings. I wanted to try to convert. Does it mean shillings or dollars? He was given that money. Those days, pack. A shirt now I'm putting on maybe would probably be about 5 shillings. Your parent was unable to get it for you. Cherry for Palma. Don't be picking in the barrel and those Palma no doing. You say you get 5 shillings and you buy a shirt. Things were easy. But here is an example of somebody from here, Mark Chente, Mamono bidong tawni cheni feuga dugu. What happened? He returned the balance. That is no more. Yeah, churikani. Kai mi medong chene totum. I was asking somebody just 2 days ago when I was looking at this. Ngo marat ma ini town ini timo. I believe you're following me. Anyway, ni gin ma town ma raj ma ini timo. Any ka ini mi na chene bale ne pedu. So you can see where we are. Things have changed. You know, having given you the background to what Road Party is, we want to revamp. Umero ne kin me fonye o yupe. Umero ne kitu matata mati dong porwakani ugire. Gig by virtue of you, the young one, the youth, to take up education seriously and do what it takes.
I ask you to allow me stand on the protocol as earlier on established, but allow me recognize the Council of Elders here, beginning with Rod Yusuf Adek Okonga. I would also like to recognize my elder, Professor Oboya Ginyera, and I would like to recognize Council Francis Gimara, and Dr. Miriam from Case Clinic, who has joined us here. And I would also like to recognize the RCC and Assistant RCC of Gulu City, the chairperson, organizing committee for this conference, the Acholi Students Union President, Mr. Philip, the Dean of Students, the Vice Chancellor Gulu University, represented by the Dean, Faculty of Agriculture. I would like to recognize the students from the different universities, Gulu University, Makerere University, Uganda Christian University, KIU, Kampala University, Chambogo, Muni University, Gulu School of Nursing, St. Mary's, Lacho, the East African Institute, Lacho School of Nursing, and all these institutions of learning represented here. Good afternoon. Is that how you greet a chief guest? Good afternoon again. That is it. That is much better. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, it gives me great honor to stand before you here as a patron of Acholi Students Union. I'm not so sure whether I'm outgoing or incoming, but they say power is sweet. I am the Deputy Inspector General of Government. I work as Deputy Inspector General of Government of Uganda. I have been a lecturer at Uganda Christian University. I've also been a lecturer at the Islamic University in Kampala. I am an associate consultant at Uganda Management Institute, teaching specifically the PhD students on leadership and governance, administrative law, and public service. I am an external examiner for School of Law, Makerere University, and also an external examiner for the University of Pretoria in South Africa. I am a member of Mothers Union in Entebbe, St. John's, and I also serve in different capacities in the church. I am a member of the Anglican Youth Fellowship Choir, where I sing alto, I sing gospel music. I thought you were going to ask me to sample. I have worked with the Uganda Human Rights Commission as my first job, and I also worked with the Directorate for Ethics and Integrity under Office of the President as my second job, and I worked with the Ministry of Works and Transport as Policy and Legal Advisor as my third job, and I went back to the Uganda Human Rights Commission as my fourth job, and I'm now with the Inspectorate of Government as my fifth job. I am a mother of 4 and 27 others. I'm also a wife and a sweetheart at that. I have been married for 22 years and I have 4 biological children. One is 20, the other is 18, I have a 16 and another one is 14 years. 1 girl and 3 boys. But why am I telling you all this? It is important to know that as a leader, you can multitask and handle so many responsibilities and have significant impact in those responsibilities. As we gather here today, we're here first of all to witness a transition of leadership, not so. Leadership, and we are reminded of the responsibility that accompanies such roles. Because leadership is not just about position. Leadership is about responsibility. As leaders, we are not called to be served, but it is a calling to serve others. So we are reminded of the responsibility to serve. Leadership is not merely about carrying that title that I'm the Secretary General, I am the President, I am the Vice. It is not. As Councillor Gimara was speaking here, I remembered that while in Makerere, I was also a Secretary Organizing Committee for Makerere Law Society, but I think that was the leadership after he had handed over to Kashiringi Hussein. I was the Organizing Secretary. So leadership is not merely about holding positions, it's about embodying values. It's about inspiring others and making impactful decisions that align with ethical principles. Are we able to make decisions that are impactful, but are also at the same time they align with ethical principles and values? Now, the path to ethical leadership is paved with integrity, it is paved with transparency and accountability. And these are the principles Councillor Gimara explained to you clearly earlier on. Now, to the outgoing leaders, first of all, I want to express my gratitude for the work you did, or for the work you have been doing, and for the dedicated service within which you carried out your responsibilities. I have seen commendable examples in your leadership, and your successors will have to pick on from there. I have seen hard work, I've seen resilience, I've seen commitment even to upholding some of these values we are talking about in our actually Students' Union. You organized the cultural gala. It was one of those very successful events we had during your term of office. You have continued to carry out constructive dialogue. You have organized debates. You have gone on radio. You have had significant impact. And for that, I thank you very much. You have had significant impact even in the lives of the students, because the ones I've interacted with have always told me that, you know, the actually Students' Union leadership have been able to accomplish ABCD. They have transformed our lives from where we were to where we are today. But I believe that the incoming leaders will continue to carry on the mantle. You have made your contribution, you have been committed, and your contributions have, of course, laid a foundation, a strong foundation, upon which the incoming leaders can build on. To the incoming leaders, first of all, I want to congratulate you on stepping up to this noble calling. Some of us have been leaders, I don't know whether to say by error or were destined to be or were born leaders. Because personally here, when I was invited to lead the Christian Union, the Faculty of Law Christian Union, I hesitated. I said, no, leave me alone. I will come and attend the fellowship. I don't think I am able to lead. For some reason, I had excuses. But when I accepted and took on responsibility, I tested leadership. And it was from there when I was inspired to go on to become secretary, organizing secretary, Makerere Society, and that kept me going. And after which I took on several other leadership roles, and that was good training ground for me as a leader. I used to fear to speak to people. Like now you see me speak here, and I'm sweating not because I'm fearing you. But I have built my confidence over time. And I stood here some time back and told you, many a times when you lack confidence, you fear. You fear to make mistakes. It's either accent, you're like, no, but for us actually we pronounce things differently. All tribes have issues with pronunciation. For those who are doing law, have you heard the Lugbara and the way they pronounce the Constitution? Someone will say in the Constitution and is comfortable with it, but you will have communicated. So do not fear. As leaders, you're supposed to serve with confidence. So the incoming leaders, congratulations upon stepping up on this noble role. You are entrusted with the responsibility to guide and uplift your peers. Not just to take on position, but remember you're called to serve. And as you embark on this journey, remember that ethical leadership requires courage. It requires confidence. It requires resilience and persistence. You need to have courage to stand for what is right, even when it is not the most popular choice. As long as it's right, you need to distinguish between what is right and what is wrong. It requires empathy, understanding the needs and concerns of those whom you are serving. Are you able to understand their needs and concerns? Are you able to stand with them and guide them? Are you able to make decisions that will make significant impact upon the lives of those whom you are leading? Above all, it also requires a vision, a forward-looking perspective that seeks to create a better future for all. First of all, as an individual, what is your vision? Because friends, if you're a leader and you're always having retakes, leadership calls for hard work, it calls for determination, it calls for resilience, it calls for the fear of God. I will give you my testimony, which I've given you before here at the end, on how hard work, determination, resilience, and the fear of God can uplift you to different places. So when we talk about the path for ethical leadership, we are here not just to make speeches, not just to be like celebrities, but we want to make a significant impact in your life by mentoring you, by walking with you the journey, by celebrating your successes and achievements. So it requires you to have a vision. What is your vision today? As I parent my children, I start asking for their vision when they're still babies. I asked my 5-year-old son one time, and he said, Mommy, for me, when I grow up, my vision is to become a driver. And I looked at this boy and I said, well, I think you will be a very good driver. A few years down the road, I again asked him, I said, Joshua, tell me, for you, where do you see yourself? He said, Mommy, I like driving. Me, I want to become a driver. So I tried to tell him, I said, you see me here, I am a lawyer, but I also drive. So you can pick on some profession, but you can also be a driver. But as student leaders, you need to have a vision. Where do you see yourself 5 years from today? Okay, those who are taking on leadership, in 2 years' time, what impact do you want to create in the lives of students in that position of leadership? We have heard from our elder on the values, on issues to do with Rocho Pacho, what we are standing for in respect to education, in respect to farming and coffee growing, in respect to reviving their Choli traditional values and having significant impact. And Council Gimara here talked about the values of integrity, accountability. If we stand for integrity and work with integrity and serve with integrity, it can take you places like you heard from his testimony. So as student leaders, you have the unique opportunity to influence others, to cause the change within your institution and communities. You are the voices of your peers, and your actions will set a tone for what is acceptable, for what is admirable, for what everybody else will stand for. So embrace this platform to advocate for inclusivity, equality, and also sustainability, because it's not just about being leaders today. Like I was a leader, my secretary organizing community. But the leadership positions have kept changing. Like I told you about the responsibilities I hold today. I have kept on changing and changing and changing and growing. So it's a privilege to address you today, first of all, on this topic, on the path to ethical leadership for student leaders. And as Deputy Inspector General of Government, I have witnessed firsthand the transformative power of ethical leadership, especially in my life and in my work, in trying to foster good governance and accountability, and even societal progress. I have noted that even the challenge of corruption, which I deal with today, corruption happens because of degeneration of values. When we lose our values, then people begin to compromise standards, then they begin to take bribes, then they begin to abuse their offices, then they begin to tell lies, and then you find that they lose integrity and lose trust of the people they are leading. So ethical leadership is a cornerstone of a just and equitable society. It is about making decisions that are not only beneficial in the short term, but also sustainable in the long run. What decisions are you making today? Remember, someone said that when you lay your bed, you must lie on it. So the decisions you make now are the decisions which will impact on your life and the lives of others as leaders. So as student leaders, you must stand as the threshold, as an exciting journey where you have the potential to influence your peers, where you have the potential to shape your own communities, where you set precedent for future leaders and future generations. I have always enjoyed my time with students, having constructive dialogue, and you've had people saying that, hey, we have seen and followed you with students. Why? Because you remind me of that time which was like the best time of my life ever. Because as a student, you're now at your peak. You can set the tone for what you want to become right now. And how do you set that tone? That is why we are here, to tell you if you want to be successful in this area, stick to integrity, stick to these values and principles, stick to these leadership principles, and this will guide you and make you leaders of a difference.
You've had it for yourselves right here on Your Space. The change has to start with you. Now, if you want to take a stand in your community as a young person in the fight against corruption, this is your time to choose ethical leadership over anything else. Let this conversation continue on our X at Your Space Uganda. Once again, I'm your host, Hannah, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.